Well, a smaller iPhone and iPad are on the way. The tech world is still buzzing after Apple unveiled the gadgets yesterday. But the company's advancements in the medical industry could actually impact your life the most. That includes the so-called Research Kit and the Care app.
Joining us now, tech expert Dan Thompson, telling us all about what we can expect, these new gadgets and new aspects. And we're going to start out with the Research Kit.
Yes.
What is this?
This is hands down probably the most inspirational thing I've seen in at least a year. What they sort of launched their event talking about how they were helping the environment, and then they kind of sort of launched into this medical thing, and everybody was kind of sitting back in their seats expecting this to not be much of anything, and then they launched into this discussion and story that was absolutely amazing. So they started the story talking about Parkinson's disease, and so with the Research Kit, what this is enabling universities and other research firms to do is conduct medical research, taking advantage of the sensors and all the devices that you can buy from Apple now, to create what has become these really interesting studies to help further our education and research and diseases. So with Parkinson's, the specific example they gave was from the University of Rochester. Within 24 hours of launching this study, they had more people involved in the history of Parkinson's studies, which is pretty interesting that they were able to accomplish that. And not only did they have more people, but they were covering more demographics and more countries. So you can tell, I mean, just by the number of correspondents and respondents, like the data that they get from studies like that is going to be amazing. They also gave examples for epilepsy and for early intervention for autism. There we go. And I mean, just fascinating discussion, and it's all being enabled by these sensors from the devices we all have in our pockets and maybe on our wrist.
Already have. Using that to get great information. Now, we mentioned CareKit. I called it an app, but you and I were talking before this segment. It's more of a tool.
That's right. Yeah. So it's a way for these research companies to create apps. So think of it as a framework or a tool, but essentially what they're doing is trying to identify, how can we better study. Like the epilepsy discussion was pretty fascinating. What they're trying to do is learn how to predict a seizure. So up until this point, they really don't know, what happens leading up to it. But if you've got a smartwatch on that's watching your heart rate, it sees your, how you're moving and things like that. And then what it asks you to do is, if you have a seizure, to log it. And then it grabs the data on either side of your seizure and then can send that to the researchers. Wow. And again, the hope is that one day they can predict when it's going to happen, which obviously improves the lives of the people who have epilepsy. Right. The same goal for people with Parkinson's disease and all the other ones that we mentioned as well. Fascinating stuff. I mean, if you can't get excited about this, I don't know what.
What's wrong with it?
Yeah, exactly.
It is fascinating. It's exciting, and it sounds like incredible opportunities. But let's talk about the security issues.
Yes.
I mean, are we at risk when it comes to the security of our information?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. And the question that I asked is, when does your iPhone and Apple Watch become a regulated medical device? Today, like a pacemaker, it has to be approved by the Federal Drug Administration, FDA, there we go. It has to be approved, and so when does our iPhone need to be approved by the FDA? Nobody seems to be talking about that yet, but it's coming. And because of all these studies and just the apps that are out there now, you're storing health information on these devices potentially, which that is highly regulated and secured data no matter where you go, like doctor's office or whatever. So yes, security is very much a concern. Tim Cook launched the event yesterday, making reference to the FBI discussions with the terrorists that I'm sure we've all heard about by now. And he said, it's our place to establish trust with our customers. We are not going to back down from this. We think that it's an overstep by the government. And of course, all of our health information plays into that. I mean, if they're able to open it up and attackers are able to get into a phone because of this hole that they create, potentially, who knows what kind of data would be out there on you.
We'll continue to talk about this for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Dan, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
All right, we're going to take it outside. That's where we're going to find Chief Meteorologist Todd Howell enjoying some nice warmer temperatures as compared to yesterday.